always imagined Palais Royale in a resort-like environment, in a natural environment, in the city. I always thought of birds chirping and sunlight and clean air and happiness. That's the picture I have in mind. It's at the gateway of the new Mumbai, where all the new infrastructural developments and new buildings are coming up. That's the happening location of Mumbai. The architect, Naushad Talati, it was his dream to build a building of such proportion. So he had this brilliant idea of the octagon and angled the views. And I said, wow. So it was like love at first sight.
The owner in this particular case always kept asking, what is the best that's available anywhere in the world? And said, okay, why can't we adopt it here in India on this particular building? And that led to all these different innovations in design and technology.
The overall excavation volume in this plot was 150,000 cubic meters, out of which 50% was in the soft soil, filled up soil and marine clay, and remaining was weathered rock.
We knew it was going to be a challenge designing foundations for this heavier building. So assuming an average pressure of 2 or 2.5 ton per meter square per floor, the pressure that would be exerted by this building on the ground would be on the order of 200 to 25 ton per meter square.
The upper part of the building is apartments. Then we have the amenity levels, and then below that we have the parking. At the top of the amenity level, we have what we call a transfer girder level. We have a very unique transfer girder system in this building. At 9 meters deep, it's the deepest transfer girder system than any major tall structure anywhere in the world.
12 to 13,000 cubic meters of concrete has gone in this network of transfer girders. We chose self-compacting concrete because there was going to be a lot of reinforcement in the transfer girders. Coupled with that, post-tension cables, vertical as well as horizontal inside the girders to control deflection and to make the girders act monolithic. Some of the columns are carrying loads as high as 8,000 tons. There are 2 or 3 types of columns which are carrying loads of 12,000 tons.
If you see our whole concrete is like a laboratory, a university, where people are studying, and the latest concrete we developed, M200, is amazing. We end up getting concrete which has never been produced before in this country, and indeed in the world.
Worldwide, if concreting is going to be done above 200 meter, it is considered as a big challenge. We had to look for high capacity pumps and then distribution system. So design of pressure boom was to be such that it distributes concrete up to extreme end of the building.
I've never seen a lobby of this size in any residential building wherever I've traveled, It's huge, it's awesome.
We conceived a system of deeper slabs which will give us bigger stiffness to span that large span. We opted for voided slabs which are formed by using very lightweight thermocol blocks.
We have the world's tallest atrium. We would be 200 meters plus.
The atrium came about as a natural feature of the plan, and also the center of the atrium in our Indian context, which we call the Brahmastan, that means the center of the building. As per the Brahmastan, as for Vastu, nothing should come up in that center.
The work of art in this building is the design, but the execution is not a work of art. The execution is a science.
Precise setting out and precise construction has been achieved everywhere. the tower itself we've monitored. We've shown that the top is very vertical above its base. In other words, there's very little lateral displacement of the top from bottom.
We have built in a lot of things by design and in the design and in the construction practice, which is highly sustainable.
All this makes the building highly efficient and highly benign from an environmental standpoint. This building has got an aspect ratio which is the height to the least width of 4. What that means is that we have a very stable building.
Palais Royale will be the safest building in Mumbai. Anybody who's going to occupy this can have a very comfortable sleep. It's going to be the last one standing, so that's for sure.
We had to look for the cranes which were able to work at 300 meter high. Wherever we felt that this machine will be suitable for our building, those were brought to the site. In the history of construction in Mumbai, none of the construction sites has ever had this kind of labor force. The safety standards and housekeeping standards we have been able to maintain here can be compared with international standards.
There's decent and hygienic labour quarters on site as in the lower levels of the tower. When people are looked after in return, they give something back, and I think it's a very decent workplace.
We thought of doing it and we did it, and in that process we gained all the specialization and skill.
I think it's placing them right up there in the Indian construction industry. They're making big and positive steps forward.
It will be looked upon as the way to do good quality buildings. I think is going to be a standard bearer for construction in India for a very, very long time.
There are a lot of modern construction companies in India, but we have introduced the concept of doing an engineered building in this sector of residential buildings. So we've taken it to a different level.